Hari Om. Good evening. A warm welcome to everybody. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, together we all offer our humble salutations filled with devotion and prapatti to seek your grace, your mercy, your love, your compassion, your forgiveness, your strength, Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya. O Lord, please bestow upon us all these divine qualities, only and only to realize Thy true self and have the aparoksha anubhuti of Thy true nature. We beseech in You that at the end of our lives, please bless us so that we all reach Thy holy feet. Our Sastanga pranams to the Guru Parampara and our fullest gratitude to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Today, we are on our Divine Discourse number 253, the 31st of December 2021. Plavanama Samvatsara Dakshinayan, Hemanta Rutu Margashira Mas, Krishna Paksha, Anuradha Nakshatra, Shula Yoge, Taitula Karane. On this auspicious day of Friday and the auspicious time of the evening, Na Ham Karta Hari Karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Pritirtha. We take a firm resolve that whatever happens to us in our lives, be it through a person, situation, object, circumstance, anything is purely at the behest of the Almighty, only and only to elevate me from this ocean of births and deaths. I firmly abide that I will live with this conviction. I will accept whatever the Almighty sends my way. And with devotion and knowledge, I will continue my life. Om. That's it. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So today, we are on TATVA BODHA, talk number 15. Now here, what we were trying to understand in the previous class was, what is the nature of the Paramatma? So, the shloka which is given in TATVA BODHA, I'll show you that and then we'll go into those details. Okay. So, Atma tarhi kaha. After a lot of inquiry, now the student, he asks, what is this Atma? He's saying, you again and again said that these are not the Panchakoshas is not me, the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti is not me, the Stula Sukshma Karana Shariras are not me. Now you are saying that you are the nature of Atma, Satchidananda. So from there, now Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he takes us to the next level. Then please tell me, what is this? I can't wait anymore. So, Atma Tarhi Kaha, the Lord says, Jagat Guru, he says, Satchidananda Swaroopa. It is the nature of that existence, consciousness and bliss. See, I must first tell you, when we talk of God or Paramatma, the immediate concept which comes to our mind is that we see, the God as either Lord Rama or Lord Krishna or any other avatar. Whatever we have seen him in the avatars, we take that as his nature. But we should remember, this Satchidananda Swarupa means this God, so-called God, what we say, is nothing but a power. It is a Shakti. It is not an individual or a person. This has to come clear to our mind. Because we have this conditioning in our mind that it is some personification in the form of an avatar. That's only for the sake of doing something good, for destroying something evil. God has taken avatars. But he is not limited to that particular form. It is that massive, amazing, stupendous strength of that divine power. And what is that nature? Here it clearly says, it is this existence, consciousness and bliss. So once you get out of that previous conditioning, now we know that, oh, this God, this Almighty is nothing but a power, a strength, something which has got the capacity to do anything and everything. It can become a human, it can become an animal, it can become a fish, it can become a bird, it can become a planet, it can become anything and everything, because it is in that basic nature of existence, consciousness and bliss. So now today we are going to continue our study on this existence consciousness bliss. I'll take a recap. I'll start from where we had done our previous class, and then we will go into details from where we had stopped. Okay. Now, now how to understand this power? We know that it is a power. If we have to understand this power or this strength, now straight going to Sat, Chit and Ananda, as told in the TATVA BODHA, it's very brief and very concise. So I think that will not make much meaning to us. We have already advanced quite a bit, and we have spoken about this in several incidents, in several lectures, as far as what is the nature of the Lord. So now I'll be taking you through a detour where we'll be using the Taittiriya Upanishad Mahavakya, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman here means Paramatma. And what is his nature? Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. Okay, and then I will correlate to this Satchidananda, so you don't have to worry. I'm only taking this because I found this more meaningful and more at a depth, where you will get the grassroots understanding of what this Paramatma Shakti is, what this God is, and how you can see God in everything, at all places and at all times. Now what more can we ask for? This is all what we are trying to pursue, isn't it? If we get a hang of these three things, then I think we have done. So we'll start our journey here. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Now what is Satyam? As we learned last, Satyam means truth, reality. And Jnana means knowledge. Anantam means infinity. Now, these are the three qualities or the names, attributes to Brahman, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. So, Brahman is Paramatma. So, let's go in the reverse order. First, they say Anantam in the reverse order, which is the last. Anantam means what? Infinite. Infinite means there is no end. So when we say there is no end, opposite of no end means there is an end. When we talk about no end, how do you talk about no end? What is that which ends? So here, what the scripture says, Desha, Kala and Vastu. These are the three things where you have that nature of limit. Desha, Kala and Vastu. What is Desha? Space. Space or place. There is a limit. Now, when you say your home, there is a limit to your home, isn't it? There is a main entrance and there is a back entrance, and then you have on the sides also, you have a limit. Whatever big it is, however big it is, there is a beginning and there is an end in terms of space. When you talk of your place where you reside, it could be a locality. You say, now this particular area, like say Keshav Nagar, let me say, for example. So Keshav Nagar has got a boundary. If you talk of the whole city, okay, let's say Mumbai has got a boundary. If you talk of the state, it has got a boundary, which means these are limits. If you talk of the country, if you talk of the planet, if you talk of the solar system, if you talk of the galaxy, everything has got a limitation by space. So here what we got to understand was that this Brahman, this Paramatma Shakti does not have any sort of limitation. Understood? See, now here we are trying to arrive at one by one, we're going to arrive at a conclusion. So what we understood here, this Paramatma Shakti does not have any limitation in terms of space, which means it is Sarva Vyapi. That is what we arrive at as the conclusion. Sarvagnya, Sarva Vyapi means omniscient, omnipotent. Okay, now we are going to prove this. How is he Sarvagnya and Sarva Vyapi prevalent all across? We will understand this. So first thing we got, in terms of he being not limited in space, he is called as Sarvagnya, Sarvavyapi, omniscient, omnipotent. Okay. Now we move to the time aspect. Desha, Kala, time. Which means, what is the limitation on time? Every aspect in this world has got a limitation with respect to its time. The time it came into existence and the time it's going to be out of existence. Like all humans, we have a birthday and we have a death day. As the Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda puts it, what is your life? That life is that dash. Your date of birth to your date of death, in between there is a small dash, and your entire life is that dash. So we are all bound by a time stipulation. Even the planet is bound by a time stipulation, our Earth planet. Even the solar system is bound by a time stipulation. Even the galaxy, even the entire creation is also bound by a time stipulation. Then what to say about the other objects which we see? So many things are there. Jiva, ajiva, living and non-living. Everything in this creation has got a time limit. But here we say, this Lord, this God, this Almighty Paramatma has got no time stipulation. He is all the time there. He is eternal. And he gets the name as Ananta. Oh. So now, first formula in terms of space is all-pervading. Second, in terms of time, we say that the Lord is eternal. He doesn't have a beginning, nor he has an end. Okay. Now, the third thing which comes to our mind is object stipulation. Because these are the three broad parameters. Now you think for yourself, if there is any other parameter, definitely it will fall under these three. You can try this out. Now, the third limitation is what? Object limitation. Vastu. Which means, if something is a particular object, there is no other thing meaning it is not any other thing. If, for example, there is a speaker. It is a speaker. It is not a watch. It is not a motorcycle, nor it is a house, nor it is a tree, nor it is a oven. It means what? There is a limitation, that every object limits itself to what it is. It is not anything else. It is not a pen. It is not a book. It is not your laptop. So then what are we trying to say? If this particular limitation with respect to object is not there, it is unlimited in terms of being objectified, which means there is no object other than this. This object is everything. My God. Now, how can there be the same thing as everything? You know, this is something which it's increasing your eagerness to understand. So this mind, it boggles. What does it mean? Object limitation is a thing is this and nothing else in the whole universe. And no object limitation means there is nothing in the universe which is different from it. Got it? So, now when we get this kind of understanding that there is nothing in this universe different from it means it becomes non-dual. Dual means two different things. Non-dual means there are no two different things. And in Sanskrit, this is known as Advaitam. Advaita. So this Paramatma Shakti is of the nature of Advaita. There is nothing apart from this Paramatma. Okay. So now what did we conclude? There is no object limitation, which means there is nothing other than this Paramatma Shakti. So we arrived at the third conclusion with respect to Desha, Kala, Vastu. Advaitam is in terms of the object. In Desha we got omniscient, omnipotent. In Kala we got eternal as Anantam, and Vastu wise we got Advaitam, meaning there is no second object other than that. So Sarva Vyapi Nityam Advaitam is the nature of this Paramatma Tattva, or this Paramatma God. Now till this point we had studied last time. Now let's move forward. Now we'll go into detail. Okay, when you say that on one hand God is Paramatma who is of this nature in terms of no limitation with respect to space, place, space, time and object, which means do you say that there are two infinities rather? One is the Lord and the other is the world in what we see? No. How can there be two infinities? The Upanishad again says, Ekam eva Advaitam. There are no two infinities. One and only non-dual power is that Lord. Now, this may sound like a beautiful abstraction, a sophisticated philosophy, or an interesting concept. But is it real? Does such a thing exist? A thing which is eternal, all-pervading and non-dual? If it does exist, then we are already in trouble. Because something which is all-pervading must be everywhere. And something which is everywhere must be right here. And something which is eternal, was, is and will be means it must be there right now. Everywhere, right here and right now. If it is eternal, it must be right now. Imagine the conclusion of this, how it is coming. Now, if Brahman is eternal or pervading and non-dual, then Brahman must be right here, right now, in anything I choose, to experience. You should be able to show me Brahman, if you are saying so. See, in conventional religion, there is a way out. I can say God exists, God is in heaven, and you can't see him right now because we are here on this earth. But God is there in heaven. When you die, you will go there, provided you have committed good deeds. And what happens? Now, okay, after a person's death, how he or she is going to inquire with us? Oh, you taught us this, and where? I cannot see God anywhere here. So, in conventional religion, it is very safe. You can make those tall claims. But now in Vedanta, it is not so. God is certainly not these things. God is apart from these things. Now, if I say that, you have to believe it. It's not my bound-down duty to show, yes, God is in heaven. But now when I say He is right here, I have to show you where God is. God is everywhere, must be here. God is in all the time, must be now, and then nothing apart from God. Then show me God in all these things. Show me. Isn't this? This is what comes to our mind. No? Now you just now said that CHIT ANANDA, this Paramatma has got these three qualities. Show me in the world now. Where is he? Because there are no two infinities. World is not one infinity and God being the other infinity. No. Ekam Advitiyam Brahma. There is only one God. Now, just to ease out, I'll tell you a small story. We all know about Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu, right? The story where now it's at a climax. Where Hiranyakashipu, after having tried all methods to kill Prahlada, throwing him from a mountain, putting him in a pit of deadly snakes, giving him poison, starving him to death, crushing him under an elephant, all sorts of things he tried. Even with his sister, he tried to burn him up, but nothing worked. So, now this is a related story to where we are going to find God in everything, place and time. Okay, so now the scene is in the palace. Prahlada is standing there, a young boy, 6-year-old boy. Now Hiranyakashipu, huge demon-like king, he is with his gada, he is standing there, mace, and he says, "Where is your Lord?" Prahlada says, "He's everywhere." Now, one of the Swamijis was narrating that, there was a drama going on in their school. All boys of 5 to 8 years old, they were performing this drama. This palace scene was created. And at best they could show 2 pillars. They were not able to show like 10 or 20 pillars. There were 2 pillars. And Hiranyakashipu is also a boy, of course with a mustache and all that. And Prahlada is of his same age, 6-7 years old Prahlada, very innocently standing there. There was one pillar to the left facing Hiranyakashipu, in front of Hiranyakashipu, one to the left and one to the right. Now what happened? When this question came, "Where is your Narayana? Show me." So Hiranyakashipu, he had to point out a finger to the right pillar because the boy was behind the right pillar. He points out his finger. "Is your Narayana there?" He points out to the left finger. The boy, he made a mistake. And now see the other side, Prahlada is clever. He says, "No, he is in that pillar." There's just humor over here. Meaning, Lord is there everywhere. That is how the story concludes. We know about that. So here, now how do we see that omnipotent nature of the Lord? So here, we have got one is Brahman and Anantam, correct? So that vastness, that infiniteness which has got no limits, here we say it is reality, is Satyam. To remind you again, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. These are the 3 qualities. So if the word Satya, if we take its real meaning, what does it stand for? It stands for truth. Or you can call it as reality, or also another word is for existence. Now the Upanishads asks us to consider. Now you know that it is reality. Okay, Satyam. We are talking of the first word now. Anantam we understood. It's infinite nature which is not restricted to the 3 broad parameters. We got it. Okay, now let's just use our common sense, not to be philosophical. Don't I consider my body to be real? The people around me to be real? My house, my furniture, my car, my books, my laptop. Now, the trees outside, the buildings outside, are they not real to me? Yes, they are very, very much real. So likewise, there are hundreds and thousands of things which are real to me surrounding us, living and non-living. Okay. Now this is the crucial part. Please understand this. So now the Upanishad says, this, as per the definition, if it is real, it must be God. Because reality, knowledge, infinity is Brahman. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam is Brahman, you said. So what is real must be Brahman. So let's look at the real things around. And when you see all these things around, don't we see that all the things which we see around is limited in terms of space, time and object. Now here is that contradiction which sets in. On one hand you say Brahman is of these qualities, and we also say that Paramatma is having the nature of this limitlessness. But here what appears to me as true in this world, including myself, now it's not falling in this gambit of whatever we studied now. So here the Upanishads tells us, you take the intrinsic meaning. Now, for example, let's say I take this glass tumbler. Okay. Now it is real. It is in my hand. Okay. So what I do is, now show me how is this falling under your parameters. Because where is this glass tumbler in terms of space? It's in my hand. And it is nowhere else. So in terms of space, it is falsified. And in terms of time, it was manufactured at some point of time, and it's not going to be there after some point of time. And in terms of object, this particular glass is a glass. I can't write with this glass. This particular glass tumbler is not a laptop. It is not a car. So in terms of object, it also goes contradictory to what we discussed. But remember, it is real to me. It is right there in front of me. So now do we see the contradiction? In one word, the definition says what is real is Brahman. So this real glass which is in front of me, is it falling under the category of Brahman or not? Which is not limited in space, which is not limited in time, and which is not limited in object. See the contradiction clearly. So both these words, infinity and reality, they apply to the same thing. This glass tumbler is not. Although it appears to me real, how can it be limited by time, space and object? So here the Upanishad says, well, nothing we see around is in terms of omniscient, eternal and non-dual. Then we are at an impasse. We are currently at a dead end. So what do they say is, and we know that Upanishads don't speak nonsense or they are self-contradictory. They say if you have a problem with the language which is self-contradictory, they say now you take the implied meaning. If the direct meaning is not matching or not fitting with what you are trying to explain. You got this? This is the subtle point. We have to take the implied meaning. Now what is the implied meaning? Reality, which means these objects are infinite, none of these objects are infinite, then what do? The accepted norm is, when we take the implied meaning, what is meant here is, now let's see. Now this is the very crucial part which you all have to understand. The Upanishad says, make a list of all the things which you see around which are real to you. Let's start with this glass tumbler. Okay? Glass tumbler, my body, my laptop, my phone, my table, my chair, my books, my car, my house, my furniture. Now, when you say you have made a list of all this, how do you experience reality in this? What do you say? Yes, the glass is real. Means it exists. Isn't it? The glass exists. The glass is. The table is, means it exists. The book is, means it exists. My body is, means it exists. The building is, means it exists. So reality means it exists. E-X-I-T-S. So the glass exists, the book exists, the table exists, the speaker exists, the laptop exists, all the buildings exist. Means what? Focus on that word is. From the sense of existence, the glass exists, the glass is. The table exists, the table is. Now, when you focus on that is, see, we do not pay attention to this humble word which is. Is means exists. Exists means existence. When you look at that isness, that very isness, the being, instead of saying the glass is, the book is, the speaker is, the audience is, everybody is, means it exists. Think of it as one ocean of existence. Please understand whatever you could so far. We are going to go further deeper into this. Everything is, which means it exists. Because it is existing, you are saying it is real. Otherwise, the question of reality doesn't come. If something is not existing, we will not talk about it at all because it is non-existent. Now what we have to prove? Sat, Chit, Ananda. We are only talking of the first word Sat. Using the Taittiriya Sutra, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. That Lord is the nature of Satyam, which means truth, which means reality, which means existence. So everything you see around has the nature of existence. The waves are all different from each other. Like as you see different names, different forms, different functions, Nama Rupa Vyavahara. They are different from each other, but there is one existence. We all are in that ocean of existence. So that word infinity to this sense of existence means not limited in space. We start there again. Omnipresent. So whenever you talk of space, even you take from the place where you are sitting with this glass tumbler, you take to the farthest galaxy. There must be existence because things exist. Everything exists in existence. Even empty space also exists. So existence is without any barrier, and that is omnipresent. There is no cutting of existence in terms of limitation. Now you can say glass is different from the cover on which is put on the glass, kept on the glass. But glass exists and the cover also exists. Now existence is not different. It is one continuous ocean of existence. We are not used to thinking about it that way. That's the only problem with us. There are many waves, there are bubbles, there is foam in the ocean. But what is that which is in the entire ocean? Water and water alone. These waves, bubbles, foam, all these are nothing but forms of that water in the ocean. So instead of looking at the different forms, if you look at the water, you know that there is nothing else other than water in the ocean. It's one unbroken mass of water. So look around you, you feel it around you. From birth till today, we have been continuously experiencing that being, that isness, that existence, but we don't focus on that. We focus on the names and forms. Like what? Here is a good person, here is a bad person, here is a very nice person, here is a gross person. And we say something is tasty, something is bitter, something is tangy, something is sweet, something I want, something I don't want. So, forgetting and overlooking that crucial part that all of this nice and bad, wanted, unwanted, cheap and expensive, whatever it is, comes under the bracket of is, existence. There is being to it, that isness to everything. That isness is not limited by space. And now talk about, is it limited by time? If you talk of existence, yes, you can say, yeah, what if I break the glass? To me, in terms of existence, you told me that yes, this has got that existence, I agree. And that existence is all pervading, I agree. But now in terms of time, now I break this glass. Which means the glass is not. Well, the Upanishad will say, nothing to worry. The broken glass, it's now a broken glass, which are pieces of glass. But again, the glass pieces there is existence even in that. Now, okay, you go powder it properly into small pieces, powder it. Glass powder is, you put it into an atom smasher, okay, and pound it into subnuclear particles. We did that. Suppose you destroy, still what you say, there is that subnuclear particles, existence is still there. Likewise, you destroy all the glass in the universe. There is something else, the table is, the other car is, house is, trees is. Yes, that isness is still there. Then where is that isness? There is that subtle bit of analysis which has to be done here. So here Shankaracharya, the commentator, he points out, Nama Rupa manifest isness. These names and forms, they come out of this existence. Now, in fact, science has made a very good Avishkar, invention. In 1970, Peter W. Higgs, he came out with the Higgs boson theory. And in 2012, the Nobel Prize winner, a physicist, Leon Lederman, he called a goddamn particle. In what? In that atom. He said, there is a goddamn particle in each and every article, in each and every atom. Now, so far we were talking of isness, exists and existence, now straight related to that atom from the point of view of science. Don't you see atoms in each and every object, right from your own body till the galaxy, farthest galaxy? So, when this atom is there, is it not that existence is spread beyond your limit? So, when these names and forms are not there, everything is resolved back into this Maya. Maya, you can call it as black hole, if you want to understand it from the point of view of science. Everything gets back into that black hole. So, then the isness continues, but it is not experienceable anymore because it is in an unmanifest form. And the moment things open up to manifest, existence comes into being. So this existence lends to these various names and forms to this creation. And everything in this creation exists because of that pure existence. This is nothing but that Sat. So, existence helps us to experience objects in various forms and names. So, this particular existence is not limited by space, is not limited by time, and it is not limited by object. Think about it. Is there any object which is apart from existence? Now we are correlating what we thought. Where the controversy was, we are correlating. If it is apart from existence, then it is non-existent. By sheer logic, it is non-existence. So this is not even abstract philosophy. This is hair-splitting philosophy actually. So it's what we are living right now. That sense of being, that sense of present, all around us, the ground of our very existence, the ground on which we play this drama called life. It's being itself that's everywhere. Nothing can be there without that being. It's a truism, and it's a logical truism. Without existence, things become non-existent. So everything depends on existence. It's like saying, can we have a wave without water? Can we have a gold ornament without gold? Can we have wooden furniture without wood? If you take the wood from your table, you will soon have nothing. There's no table at all. If you take the wood, the whole thing will crash, because without a wood, how can you have a wooden table? So therefore, a table cannot exist without the wood. Similarly, nothing in this universe can be there without existence. So existence is not apart. There is nothing apart from existence. There is no second thing apart from existence. So existence is non-dual Advaitam. So in terms of space, time and object, we have got this matching corollary now. Brahman is non-dual. So we have found Brahman where? In the existence of everything in the universe. Don't look at the person. Don't look at the object. Don't look at the non-living thing. Look at that atom. We understand atom better, because our mind is conditioned by these words: atom, neutron, proton, electron. Our mind is conditioned, so we understand that. Look at that. Is there a neutron, proton, electron in this? Yes, that is existence. Now science has told you there is a goddamn particle in it, some power which is there in it. So in this way, now Jagat Guru tells us, what is this God? God is that power, that strength, that Shakti we know, which is of the nature of first Sat. We got to understand. Of this Sat, Chit, Ananda, now we understood what is Sat. We have another 10-13 minutes. Let me cover up Chit and Ananda also, because Sat is the most important aspect. Ananda you'll be able to understand easily. Chit and Ananda, both are easy. Sat is very important. So relate to anything when you see, does it have atom or not? Atom means existence. Existence means the nature of God. It is of the nature of God, which means nothing is different from God. That is what we are trying to understand here. There is no second thing other than God. Our understanding doesn't allow us to know God to the fullest. That's all. And those rare souls who have been designated or chosen for liberation, they get this knowledge. Otherwise, it's not everybody's cup of tea. There may be so many people sitting around you listening. They'll say, what are you doing? Nonsense. This is a nice serial going on. Why don't you watch that? That's how the Maya pulls them into the world. But as I told you, those lucky few can get this. Now, let's move to the next aspect, knowledge. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So this we know. What is considered to be knowledge? Let's just take an understanding of this. So we consider everything to be knowledge. Like say, now you are listening to me. That is, listening is knowledge. You are seeing my face. That is knowledge. Then you start thinking, what is he saying? How much I have understood, I have not understood. So that is also knowledge. So different kinds of thoughts are coming up. That is also knowledge. So are they Brahman? Meaning, is it God what you're saying? This knowledge, this particular chapter what we are talking, or this particular subject, it may not be here only. Like say you are doing some mathematics. There is a formula. Let's say simple, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now that is knowledge. You mean to say that is God? You are cooking something. That is of course out of your knowledge. You mean to say that is God? If somebody is coming at your door, you are talking to him and he is saying something, you are understanding that. So that is also knowledge. So there are, knowledge is something where something is in the Guru's mind, but it is not there in the disciple's mind. It is yet to come to the disciple. So this knowledge is there somewhere and it is not there in the other place, because I need to still read and understand. So don't you see that space limitation over here in terms of knowledge? I have it, meaning the Guru has it, let's say, and the Shishya doesn't have it. So there is a space limitation. So now in the terms of time also you can say, as far as this knowledge is concerned, there are things which I knew in the past, but now I have forgotten. There are things which I do not know, but I am sure that I will eventually know them. Like now what we are studying. So there is a time limitation. So every moment I am getting different kinds of knowledge. You had one kind of knowledge before the talk started and another kind of knowledge at the end of this talk. So things which we see, hear, understand, they are all cut off by time. In fact, knowledge changes very fast. Our experiences are fleeting. And is any knowledge non-dual? We are coming to the third aspect. Every bit of knowledge we have seen, heard, and we think are all cut off from each other. They are different from each other. So object limitation applies to knowledge also. So in terms of time, in terms of space, and in terms of object, there is a limitation to knowledge. So now what we have to do? We apply, as per the Upanishad, the implied meaning. We have to follow the same logic what we did in terms of existence. Apply it to knowledge now. How do we apply? Look at our knowledge. All the experiences we gain throughout the day, from morning till late night, till we go off to sleep. So all the experiences we are getting, thousands, lakhs and lakhs bits of knowledge being processed by our minds. Sorry. Our mind is continuously processing. So what is common to all of them? This entire processing. Now, we have been attending the spiritual talks for long enough. So we should say immediately that what is experiencing all this is that consciousness. Anything that we know, is it not true that it is in our awareness? Now this is the most subtle point which you have to understand. Every bit of knowledge you have, I am aware of your voice. I am aware of the doorbell ringing. I am aware of the cooker whistling. This is hot, this is cold, this is tasty, this is harsh to my ears. It's very warm. Now, this consciousness, this awareness is common to each and every knowledge which we get in our daily life. This is again a truism that without consciousness, there is no knowledge. There is no understanding capabilities. No cognition is possible without this consciousness. So the things, the object of consciousness are different from each other. They are limited by space, limited by time, limited by object, but consciousness itself is common to all knowledge. Every knowledge is grounded in that pure consciousness. That pure consciousness has got no limitation whatsoever with respect to time, space and object. That which is aware of different from each other. That pure consciousness in itself is not limited in Desha Kala Vastu, time, space, object. So this pure consciousness, this pure knowledge is the real meaning of the second word, which is Jnanam as per the Taittiriya Upanishad, and Chit as per the TATVA BODHA, CHIT ANANDA SWAROOPA. Sat, Chit. Sat is existence, Chit is knowledge. So this pure existence is what we experience throughout our lives. We are in fact in that ocean of existence. Now this definition just now draws our attention. It says this consciousness is shining through our everyday experience. Whether you see somebody, you talk to somebody, you hear something, you smell something, you touch something. Pratibodha viditam matam amrutatva hi vindyate. Kenopanishad 2.4. What does it say? Every experience is nothing but the experience of the Lord. If you forget and surpass the name and form, you will get to see existence and you will get to see that knowledge. What is knowledge? Awareness, nothing else. What are you aware of? I am aware of what is happening. Now you are talking, I am aware of this. So it's that pure consciousness shining forth. It is that light within our hearts which enables to experience our lives. And we are all studying the 13th chapter, isn't it? So now in the 13th chapter, Jyotisham apita Jyotihi. The Lord says, Jyotisham apita Jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He's saying, He is the source of light in all luminaries and is entirely beyond the darkness of ignorance. He is knowledge, the object of knowledge and the goal of knowledge. He dwells within the hearts of all living beings. Now exactly what is said here. Now this is in the 13th chapter, 18th shloka. See how we are able to connect Tattva Bodha and the Gita. So this consciousness, the movies of our lives are played on the screen of this pure consciousness. So this pure consciousness is neither created nor destroyed, neither it comes into being nor it goes out of being. It's not limited to objects which it illumines or which it is aware of. That pure consciousness is Brahman. The definition of Brahman which we are familiar. Sat Chit Ananda, existence absolute, consciousness absolute and bliss absolute. So now we understood the word Sat and Chit. Sat is existence. Go backward and see that atom in each and every aspect of what you can see, touch, hear, smell. All, whatever through your perception, sensory perceptions, you will experience atom, that is existence. And that is the nature of Paramatma, the Almighty. And Chit, to know anything, you need that pure consciousness. Even for your senses, Jyotisham apita Jyotihi, for anything which is luminous, where there is an activity. What is luminosity? Now that Chaitanya Shakti in us has kept us luminous. The moment the Chaitanya Shakti goes away, the person is dead. So, this consciousness is again the second aspect of Paramatma, which you see as in infinity. Desha, Kala, Vastu, in every aspect you see knowledge. Now coming to the bliss part, he says, Nalpe Sukham Asti, Bhumaiva Sukham. He says, that which is infinite is joy by itself. Our unhappiness in this world is because we know that there is something, we have the fear of losing it. We have the fear of that limitation. Oh, I wanted it this way. That person has this. This person has so and so. I don't have this. There is a limitation. So this limitation automatically creates a sense of unhappiness. I'm going to die one day. The things which I love will be taken away one day. So this, power of enjoyment will go from me one day. Let's say I have a status in terms of a political status or in a company or wherever it is. You have that fear of it going away. So that causes unhappiness. So that's having a sense of infinity. That sense of infinity itself is joy. It's a mass of joy, an ocean of joy. So Satyam means Sat, that is existence. Jnanam means knowledge, which means also called as Chit. And now when you get this meaning by using the word Anantam, not limited. This not limited existence, this not limited consciousness is itself joy or Ananda in itself. What is this? This is your true nature. Not this infinite body. Because of that Maya, ignorance, we are considering ourselves to be this infinite person. We have been traveling from life to life, life after life, life, death, birth, death, birth, death. This has been our continuous journey. This life is just that one page of that voluminous book of ours. This is just one page. But being fortunate, you got to know what your true self is and you merge with the Paramatma. You keep telling yourself that I am not this finite body, nor this mind, nor this jiva. I am that Paramatma Shakti. Because what is happening there? You're removing that I. The moment you put an I, you are in the fold of ignorance. The moment you remove that I, you become Aham Brahmasmi. There is nothing other than that pure consciousness, pure existence, and pure Ananda, which is the nature of the Lord. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. So that light which is shining in your heart, that pure consciousness, that bliss, that joy, that awareness, that is your true nature. In fact, in one of these Astavakra Gita, May Anantam Maha Bodhau Ashcharyam Jiva Vichakshayaha Udhyanti Nanti Khelanti Pravishanti Swabhavataha. So the Lord says, the Astavakra Gita, here the author says, I am that infinite ocean of existence, consciousness. In me, these Ashcharyam, wonderful entities called human beings, they arise as waves. And what do? Khelanti, they play with each other. They love each other. They get into a relationship. They marry each other. And Nanti, they fight with each other. They have wars against each other. And finally, they separate from each other. Pravishanti. What happens finally? Pravishanti means they subside into that ocean of consciousness. So this is the definition of Brahman, which we find in the Upanishads and this Prakarana Grantha, TATVA BODHA. I hope you all found it interesting. See, this is the crux of the entire teaching of Vedanta. So please get that real hang of everything, what you have understood and what also you have not understood. Okay. In another 15 minutes, we have another class, so I'll have to take leave. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer this Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord to seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Let's meet on this coming Tuesday and we'll have the Bhagavad Gita class. Hari Om.